not as nice for capturing today as there's a lot of clouds in certain areas that I want the sunlight on. And what did I read today? How about this one? News about, I guess, drones being used in war, but as well, I guess, robots, huh? It's that time already. This one says, Russia's first ever robotic ground assault ended badly for the robots. As it says here, the air might be the perfect medium for a drone, the sea a close second. After all, avoiding obstacles is one of the hardest tasks for the distant operator for some remote-controlled robot. And with that, they talk about how the drones are being used both air and ground. Now, normally you'd think of things, for example, like surveillance or using it as a weapon of sort, but they mention how they also use it for things such as supplies. It says not for actual combat at least. Both the Ukrainians and Russians do use small ground robots for resupply, casualty evacuation, and mine laying. The combat exception ended somewhere around the ruins of Bakhmut in the eastern Ukraine when the Russian army sent at least 2 and possibly many more small track grenade launcher armed unmanned ground vehicles on what appears to have been a direct assault on the Ukrainian 53rd Mechanized Brigade. It didn't end well for the robots. A capture from a Ukrainian aerial drone circulated by Telegram channel Stanislav Osman depicts 2 of the diminutive UGVs, one with the number 6 on its flank lying apparently damaged amid the ruins of the destroyed vehicles. We don't know exactly what the Russians were trying to do with their grenade launching robotic mini tanks. It makes me think too with that quote actually saying it didn't end well for the robots. Obviously countries, they don't want to use humans if they don't have to, and it makes you wonder if they could use things like robots and so forth or drones, does it make them more inclined to get into a fight? That is a more common sight. I was even watching this video today where it looked like there was someone using an FPV drone, I believe, just based on all the comments and stuff I read online. It's someone from Ukraine using it against someone in Russia, and you can see this drone, it just kind of like stalks the person so casually, doesn't know what to do. And no, that's not a surveillance drone. Apparently there's a bomb there because it blows up at the end. Can't really show it because it's gruesome and all that in terms of what happened at the end, obviously, but either way, countries are using tech in these ways. And more news today, it seems, for whatever reason, about people using, I guess, drone tech in a bad way. How about this one? Another bust in terms of some kind of, I guess, criminal network of sort. Like this one here from the West Tennessee Drug Task Force. It says, last night, agents with the 28th District out of Crockett County were called out to assist our partnering agencies, Bell Police Department. An alert Bell's PD patrol officer conducted a stop on a vehicle heading westbound on Highway 412 for a traffic infraction. Upon stopping, one male passenger fled from the vehicle with a backpack, and one male driver was detained by the patrolman. Upon search of the vehicle, the officer and agent seized 48 Dirty 30 fentanyl pills, 3.5 pounds of tobacco, multiple cell phones with chargers, a Sony PSP, paraphernalia, memory cards, mesh bags, and a drone with a controller and spare batteries. I was just curious what that drone was. It looks like it's an Evil, by the looks of it anyways. It says, during the search for the fleeing suspect, agents recovered the backpack, which contained approximately 1 pound of marijuana. Further investigation by agents revealed the men were en route to Northwest Correctional Facility in Lake County with the contraband. Upon inspection of the drone, it was determined that it was equipped with an actuator device that would hold the mesh bags full of contraband. The drone could then be used to drop the contraband inside of prison grounds. One male has been arrested on charges of possession of Schedule 2 and 6 with the intent of drug paraphernalia. So again, more criminals and stuff using things like drones in these cases, and I think it's that point again I mentioned, I don't see how things like the regulations and so forth in a lot of places stop people like this from committing crimes and stuff, correct? They're going to do it, and you're gonna have to find ways to deal with them. And here actually, there was a lot of news recently about, I guess, school boards in Ontario that is going to sue social media companies for what they're doing to students. And I'm just wondering, is this even possible just from a legal standpoint? It says Ontario's largest school board sues social media giants for disrupting students' fundamental right to education. So according to this, all these school boards are going to sue platforms like Meta, ByteDance, which owns things like TikTok, and the reason is for disrupting student learning and the education system. The lawsuit claims that social media products negligently designed for impulsive use have rewired the way children think, behave, and learn. Students are experiencing an attention, learning, and mental health crisis because of the prolific and compulsive use of social media products. The fallout of the compulsive use of social media amongst students is causing massive strains on the 4 school boards, finite resources, including additional needs for in-school mental health programming, and personnel, increased IT costs, and additional administrative resources. Collectively, the boards are advancing claims in the excess of $4 billion. This action calls on social media giants to remediate these enormous costs to the education system to redesign their products to keep students safe. Yeah, I'm wondering, how is this even possible with this lawsuit? Now, to my understanding, the argument for companies, for example, like ByteDance, they say there are things like restrictions on the apps and how long people could actually stay on them, but I don't see how this would actually succeed in the end. Because if this actually, I guess, succeeds, doesn't that technically mean you could sue, let's just say, TV shows for being, quote, too addictive? I don't know. To me, just trying to think of it from a neutral standpoint, it almost feels like it's a parental issue, because even nowadays, actually, when you go outside, you see kids, for example, they're crying, they're not behaving. It seems like a lot of parents, their solution to get them to stop, let's just say, crying or something is, here's the tablet. The same thing, like if you go to like a restaurant and people are crying, you see these kids on these tablets and stuff every single day. So in some cases, I would say it's the parents' fault too, isn't it? So I don't see how they could pinpoint this on the companies in this regard, in terms of a lawsuit anyways, unless you can explicitly prove, for example, they targeted kids, for example, to get them addicted and all that, kind of like, I don't know, drugs or something like that. Like, you know it's going to harm them and they did it anyways, like that type of direction. But I don't know, what would you think of this? Alright, see you guys later.